Welcome to this video. So today I'm going to be talking about a topic that I've been seeing. Yeah, I see it off and on over the years, and that is the difference between freeform locks, what we call today freeform locks, and neglect locks. Now, I rarely see it, but I have seen over the years people call their dreadlocks neglect locks. But I also see the term neglect used for people who have a certain type of dreadlocks, like um, I don't. Somebody commented on my channel the other day. I don't know. Like, I don't know if the comment was like to me or I don't know. Maybe they were just speaking in general. But I did tell them. I said, you know what? That's a good idea. I'm gonna actually make a video about that topic because I see that when people see dreadlocks like this versus other types of dreadlocks, and this is what I mean. So what happens is, and how it gets to this point, I think anyway, is there's people who say that they have freeform locks, right? So this term freeform locks, it's a fairly new uh, term. You know, like it's been around probably for quite a few years, but it's still fairly new. You know, because but I just throw it. You know, the term freeform locks, neglect locks, organic locks, semi freeform. I just throw all of that in the same bag. It's just a bunch of it's different labels people come up with for whatever the reasons may be. But I have seen the term, and so I think what happens is people who say that they have freeform locks, right? And then you have the people who grow their dreadlocks a certain way. This, for example. So these were intended, from my understanding, to be what we term freeform locks of today, right? So, but you have people who say that they're freeforming, but they're really not. Their prerogative, not judging it. But you have people who say that they're freeforming and they're not, and they're really not. And what happens is when people see their types of freeform on social media, that's more comfortable for them to look at. That's more, and it's not twisted and nice and neat how I really prefer, or I may prefer, but it's not this. It's not the other. It's not that. So I see some people, and it's also based off of like what people feel about it as well. Just people's feelings on these types of dreadlocks in general, regardless of the type of dreadlocks that they prefer. Um, so when people see these types of dreadlocks, the ones who are saying that they're freeform and their locks are more comfortable for people to accept and look at, they now say that, well, those are freeform locks. That's how freeform locks should look. Versus when they see these types of dreadlocks, it's like, yo, you must not care about yourself, or you don't want to take care of yourself. You don't care about you don't have any get up with yourself, and therefore you are neglecting your hair. Like, so when people see my hair, they think that I neglect myself. Like for some reason, that signals to them that I don't have any get up, I'm lazy. And maybe not me specifically, but sometimes when they see people with dreadlocks, this in general, that's their thoughts. You don't have any get up with yourself. You don't want to groom yourself, and like you don't want to take care of yourself. You don't have no pride in your look. So that's what it signals to them when they see these types of dreadlocks. So now when people see these types of dreadlocks, they automatically have this vision that they compare it to. These are the other people who say that they're freeforming, and that's more acceptable. And then they see these. So then they call these neglect dreadlocks because of the uh, thought that people with dreadlocks like this, we just want to be lazy. We don't want to groom ourselves. We don't want to have any get up. We don't want to present ourselves. Um, and obviously that's far off. Um, I say this, listen, and I always tell you guys, about the military, and I always give you guys analogies, different analogies, so you can kind of connect what I'm saying. When I was in the military for my 4 years, right? So normally when you will see somebody in the military, well, when I would see people in the military, like it would be family members and things of that nature. Or sometimes I would see people on TV, and I would always send me these really nice uniforms, right? You guys see the commercials. Um, and so, man, I'm like, yo, they gotta be like they're really squared away. Those are really nice and neat people. You know, they got the haircuts and they got the uniforms on, and they just have a certain look about them, right? They look a certain way. And then, you know, when I talked to my recruiter and all of this stuff, blah, 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 and I just, you know, I was watching how they move, right? And, you know, I was like, these are pretty neat guys. When I got in the military, all of these guys to wear these, I don't say all, a lot of these guys who wear these nice uniforms, you wouldn't believe that how some of these guys are the dirtiest, most unorganized people that you can ever be around. And that's what I connect this to. So I can't tell how clean you are, how organized you are, none of these things by just looking at you on the outside. Because I've been around some of the dirtiest people, but they wear a nice uniform, right? Hair is not indicative of upkeep. Now, if we're gonna be realistic, can it be? Absolutely. Absolutely. Those guys that I see in those uniforms, I've listened just as well as I've been around some of the dirtiest, most unorganized men. I have also been around some of the cleanest, most OCD. I need this right here. My room got to be clean. I've been around those as well. But did the way that they wear their uniforms tell me that? No. I had to experience those people. I had to live with those people. I had to talk and be amongst those people to make that assessment. You know, it's so I can't look at somebody with dreadlocks like this just because I don't like it. It ain't my cup of tea. Like I can't judge anything off it. I can't look at somebody with some nice twisted locks and a style and say, man, you know what? They care about themselves, man. They got a lot of self-esteem. It's not you can't judge it by that. Can it be an indication of that? Possibly, but it's not as absolute as people make it seem. You know, I know for me personally, I can't speak for other people as to why we would grow our dreadlocks like this. Why would you not? Because a lot of people can't understand. Why would you pick that style of dreadlocks? You know, what comes to your mind when you want to wear these types of dreadlocks and want to go through all of that versus, you know, just having them nice and neat, an edge up and all of those things, you know. And a lot of people also can't understand. You're like, why you comb your beard out and do all this to your beard, but you don't, you know what I'm saying? You don't do it to your hair. So it's just a vision, man. Like it's just like when you wear something, when you want to buy something offline. I don't know about you guys, but I'm a big online shopper. When I see something online that I really like, I envision myself with it, first of all. Do I have the shoes to go with that? Do I have a shirt to go with that? Or do I have a pair of pants to go with that? How would I look in that overall? Is that for my physique? Is that for my, you know, my body structure? Like, does that fit me? Does that fit my personality? Right? So the same thing with hair. Like, you guys probably, a lot of you don't even know me personally. But just watching my videos over the years, you can kind of see that you probably couldn't envision me with twisted locks, some type of style, or those little crinkly locks. Like, you probably, nothing against that. You know, some of them brothers pull it off. But it's just not me. Like, that's not my personality. That wouldn't fit me. So it's the same thing. Like, it's just like you just have a vision for yourself. When you online shopping, you got to envision yourself. Like, you got to envision yourself. Like, would I look good in that? If the answer is no, 9 times out of 10, you're not gonna buy it. So you envision, like, how would I look with dreadlocks like that? And when I wanted to have dreadlocks, I wasn't struck. I wasn't in awe of people with twisted locks. I would appreciate them, but when I seen these types of dreadlocks, that's what struck me more. And so that's what I said. That's the type of dreadlocks that I want. I am a very, you know, clean person. I would say I have a lot of pride in myself and my presentation. You don't see me come on here saying the B word. You guys never heard me say the N word. You guys probably can count the times on your hand that I've used curse words. Um, I come on here, I present myself. I would say a pretty good way, but some people may look at me and say, well, his hair looks a certain way, therefore his personality may be a certain way. Maybe he's not clean. Maybe he doesn't have pride in himself. Maybe he doesn't care about his upkeep. And I mean, that couldn't be further from the truth. But that's my thought on how and why people separate freeform locks, like actual freeform locks, from neglect locks, and whatever neglect locks is, or whatever neglect means to them. They say there's a difference between freeform locks and neglect locks, and it's like, well, the only difference that I can see is that if you feel somebody is truly, when I think of somebody truly neglecting their hair, now you can neglect your hair with twisted locks. You can neglect your hair with any type of haircut. You can neglect yourself in numerous ways, but sticking to the locks part, where if you have dreadlocks like this, and you just don't clean them at all, like you neglect to clean your hair, you neglect to keep up with the upkeep of having dreadlocks like this. When you have dreadlocks like this, it doesn't it's not a green light to just not wash your hair and not care for your hair. You do less stuff, or you're supposed to do less stuff, but now that's another story for another day, because you see a lot of people today doing a whole bunch of stuff. But again, another story for another day. But if somebody's like truly not taking care of their hair, man, then yes, they are neglecting their hair, and you can assess that from seeing certain stuff, but it's not an automatic, you know what I mean? And but I think also today the term freeform is also just gotten muddled, and it's gotten lost, and people use the term freeform is like, as I said before, like they use it as like a verb. So if somebody doesn't retwist for a month, they'll say then I am freeforming, versus it being a nature, a way of which you're growing dreadlocks. They're saying I'm freeforming now. I haven't retwisted in a week. I'm freeforming. I haven't retwisted in 6 months. I'm freeforming. So they use it as like a verb. You know what I mean? So that's why people see these types of dreadlocks and they think that these are the bad dreadlocks, which is weird in the space that they were intended for. So, but that concludes this video. I would really love to know you guys' thoughts. Do you separate freeform locks and neglect locks? Is there such thing as neglect locks to you? I don't know. So, but until next video, I appreciate you guys watching as usual.